Alright, so today I decided to go for a hike inside of a public forest near my apartment. And this is the Hushan Creek. It's beautiful out here. It reminds me a lot of, well, it's just really a jungle. You got this really nice creek flowing through, interesting architecture. You got a cliff face over there. It's just amazing. And before I came to Taipei, I didn't really realize how tropical it was, I guess. But the animals that I've seen, the plants that I've seen, everything is just, they're really living in a jungle, like an island on a jungle. Or a city on an island that is also a jungle, let's put it that way. You know, it's not quite like equatorial. I believe the Tropic of Cancer lies right to the center of the island, so we are in the tropics. But you know, it's this odd mix of like palm fronds, but also a fair amount of deciduous trees. I was talking to another expat the other day, and she said that it actually snowed for the first time in Taipei City in like 60 years this year, which seems amazing to me. Although then again, today is pretty cool. I'd say it's probably hovering around 50 degrees, 55 maybe. Not 100% sure, don't quote me on that. But you know, you've got all these amazing trees, really unique plants. I'm hoping to see some sort of interesting plant life, or animal life rather, while I'm out on my walk. I'm not going to be out for too long because I am freaking hungry. I sort of just spotted this as I was wandering around trying to find some food, and I figured this would be a cool place to go and check out. And I was not disappointed. Alright. So it looks like there's some sort of rural farming going on here. Oh, I see some kind of animal. Is it gonna let me get close? No. Well, there was a lizard down there. I don't know if you guys spotted it. I'm sort of weary to touch anything, because I don't know if anything is poisonous or what the deal is. But if we get down low, nah, I can't see anything. It's gone. But it's a little disappointing at the amount of garbage I see strewn around the path. You know, I don't know if that's the fault of tourists throwing stuff or the locals just not caring. You know, it's hard to say without having any kind of research done. But this place would be so nice if it was just, you know, pristine nature and no one leaving shit around to make a mess. Getting my shoes all muddy, I'm gonna have to wipe them off before I go home. But, you know, they call Taiwan one of the 4 Asian dragons, which is to say it's one of the 4 civilizations in Asia that is really booming now. And after being in the city for as long as I have, I can see why. The downtown is so metropolitan. It really feels like a downtown of any major city on any continent. But, you know, a 20-minute walk, 30-minute walk, and you're out in the jungle like this. It's really amazing. I have to wonder what the ecological results of this industrialization are. How much has the jungle been cut back? How much of the forest remains? How many of the animals are adapting versus suffering because of the industrialization of this country? In a few days I'm going to Singapore, and there I can sort of see the later results of it. Singapore is heavily industrialized at this point. You know, it's one of the leading markets. It's a very amazing place. Looks like I'm coming to the end of my path. There's a fence up there and a man doing exercises. Well, this seems like as good a place as any to turn around and start heading back. Oddly enough, you don't see a lot of Western tourists here. Or, yeah, you don't see almost any. I think on a daily basis I'll maybe see 2 or 3 groups of non-Asian tourists. It really feels like the vast majority of tourists here are from China and from Japan. It's actually really nice because I can communicate with the Japanese tourists to some degree. And that sort of makes me feel a bit at home. A large amount, I'm saying much larger than in Japan, of the locals here can speak English. Their primary language is Mandarin. And then as a secondary language, they're taught English. There's also a local dialect, Taiwanese, which students have the option to learn as well. It's sort of falling out of favor, I believe. In addition to that, a lot of the people here who are of maybe 60 years of age or older also know Japanese, going back to when it was under Japanese rule. So there's a lot of language. Most people here are at minimum bilingual. This is a cool tree. And a lot are actually trilingual. Sort of makes you despair for the fate of the American language learner. At the school I was teaching at, they had a joke that, if you call somebody who knows 2 languages bilingual, and you call somebody who knows 3 languages a polyglot, what do you call someone who only knows 1 language? You call them American. And it sort of hit a little too close to home. I was fortunate enough to be able to learn a few languages when I was younger, and that's really helped me out a lot. Well, French is less useful than you would hope, especially when traveling around Asia. Oh wow, look at this. Oh, that is a giant snail. Big snail. Oh man, even a bigger one. Look at this guy. There we go. Alright, some real live animals. Perhaps not the most exciting of finds, but still, I saw some wildlife. I'm happy. I bet just looking down here in this underbrush. Oh, there he goes. Yeah, I should just take him in, just look down into this sort of debris area, and I bet I can find all sorts of stuff. But I really like to find, apparently they just have these, massive insects, none of which I've seen so far. Well, no, that's not true. When I was at, the Miyazaki town, I can't remember the name of it now, it's like Feng Li or something like that. I was accosted by some incredibly large hornets. Fortunately, I did not get stung, but they definitely gave me the buzz-by a few times. So, but they have massive stick insects here, giant beetles. They're probably staying well away from the path. But regardless, I would love to see what sort of stuff we can find. I'm gonna head on down to this terrace and see what I can see. So I'm really excited for my trip to Singapore as well. Because Singapore is even further south than this. It lies pretty much on the equator. And it's an incredibly industrialized commercial haven. One of the safest cities in the world, and then the wilderness around it must just be absolutely amazing. But I'd be curious to see how the wilderness has adapted to the fact that it is this, thriving city-state. Yeah, so I'm not seeing anything too awe-inspiring at the moment. I can hear birds, but don't see any from here. Anyways, just wanted to take you guys on this nice little walk with me through the forest. I'm going to upload this and hopefully see you soon. Bye, guys.